and good evening. Hello, Michelle. How are you? Thank you so very much for joining us at If America Fails, the Coming Tyranny. I'm Janice Graham, and my partner here is Michelle Odom. She is the senior producer of this production, and we are so grateful at our Common Ground Communication Media for the hard work, the efficient work, the effective work, the exciting work that she has done for this production. And welcome to the first generation of live streaming for TruthWorks Network. Michelle?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you hear me?
All the people in the audience are
Eh,
saying yes, building up their hands.
Okay, good. Good. I'm busy having technical problems as we go through the evening, so please bear with me. If I get knocked out of the chat, rest assured I will be doing everything that I can to come back in. But we are here and glad to be here. And welcome to our guest, Dr. Karen Ritzenhoff. We are so pleased to have you join us. When Janice and I were talking about this several months ago, one of the things she said was we need to find a scholar expert on the Handmaid sale. And really, it had just occurred to me, such a person exists. So I went about doing much, and us, Dr. Ritzenhoff, was excited to learn a book, which you will hear. Uh, and then welcome to teaching. Okay. I don't know if you mentioned, Janice, that tonight is a sneak peek, and we plan to take the rest of the year off and return in January, early January, doing a weekly program Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. on the TruthWorks Network YouTube. That's the plan, to bring in, well, let me go say really what my conception of what we're trying to do uh, is to look at the fiction dystopia story, The Hand, written by Margaret Atwood, and produced on Hulu station. Look at this fictional story in comparison to real life events. So there's a lot that goes on in the story. One of the interesting things to me about the story is they use a lot of labels. They don't name the behavior. They say it out. All things. There's a lot that compares to. We want to bring in different scholars who vantage point.
Michelle,
So
you're coming in and
tonight our goal, it seems like most people in the world probably know The Handmaid. So we're going to spend a little.
Michelle, can you hear me?
Goal is to try to
Michelle, can you hear me?
that uh, and
I think
that's where we
Michelle
are.
has. Well, she is probably hearing herself, and that the audio is effective where from her headset.
I hear you.
Oh, you hear me? Your audio is very choppy, and you're saying some very important, making some very important points. So why don't we pause you and have you go out and come back in, because I think your voice is so important because you understand the urgency of these matters, um, in the context of what the Atwood book, as well as what Karen Ritzenhoff has done, to enhance and actually set the alarm. It's almost one of the experiences I had in reading the book was, it taught me that all all nightmares have to be analyzed. They have to be uh, taken apart, and some critical study about what it means. And that is what Margaret Atwood has done, and where our guest tonight, Dr. Karen Ritzenhoff, has in her book helped us to understand that we cannot take this lightly. All of the circumstances. And it's really interesting that so many people are finally, and important people, are finally beginning to see that we are under threat, that the democracy is fractured, that our liberties and our rights are not in control. We are not in control of our liberties and rights. And we have a very fragile governmental infrastructure that is overseeing this all. It's frightening. I have grandchildren. I have to preserve the union for my grandchildren. And I have been talking about on my radio show, Our Common Ground. I'll do the pitch until Michelle comes back. I have been talking about on my radio show the idea that there is a plan. It is the plan of the second coming of the Confederacy, and certain things must be in place for that plan to be successful. And today I am recognizing, um, and we're hoping that we all can begin to recognize that we are in part 3 of the Civil War 2.0. There is discord that rumbles beneath our feet, and until we give up the denial about what is happening in this country, if we give up the claim that somehow America is exceptional and does not run risk, if we did not see, if you want to see it in the context of Donald Trump, it's fine with me. But we also must see it in the context of what we as American citizens have denied, the denial of a George Bush and a George Herbert Bush and a Ronald Reagan and a Dick Cheney and a, let's just give it up, Miss Rice. I still call her Miss Rice. But um, this book helps us become critical evaluators of what's happening around us. And I am so pleased to be able to help the public discord, to be part of the public square in looking at the issues of class and criminal justice and cults and democracy, autocracy, fascism, gender um, gender crimes of gender crimes, that we have to see that corruption in our lives go far beyond what we should tolerate. And there has got and the major part of the 5-point solution plan at TruthWorks Network is that we have to give up the denial, and we have to claim that we have been in a constitutional crisis for more than 10 years, that we have been on the brink of the total destruction of the democracy that is claimed but has never been really true. So I just thank you all for being with us tonight. This is our maiden trip at YouTube. Michelle Odom is an administrator at Our Common Ground Communications and Media, and she is the senior producer of this product. In January, starting January 14th, we will be running a 12-week series which will deal with each and every of the themes that you find on our website, ifamericafails.live, Live. We're trying to wait for Michelle to get back in here. But one of the things I do want to do before we bring in our speaker, because there are some of you, and we're so glad to have you. We're really so glad to have all of you with us. I couldn't wait to begin. I couldn't wait to begin to work on getting the kind of clarity that this fictional story brings to us about our country. So, with that being said, and while Michelle is back. Hello, Michelle. I miss you.
Hi.
Your part.
Thank you.
I got one of the things that I was talking about with the audience is the necessity of having scholars like Dr. Ritzenhoff and filmmakers and Cotton, who's in our studio tonight. And we also welcome Angela and Gio Moses, who is part of our crew. That the necessity to get people to claim the bad things, the bad lands.
Yeah.
To dare to remove the smudge of propaganda that's on our lenses. So, Michelle, with you want to do a quick review of the themes of the Handmaid's Tale, the book, as well as the Hulu series?
Yeah. Well, did you introduce Dr. Ritzenhoff?
Not yet, because you didn't tell me to do that.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, why don't I do it all as a part of that?
Do you want to do the season recaps first? That's what it says on
no.
The... Okay.
No.
Then Dr. Ritzenhoff can help us go through those.
Right. Right. So Dr. Karen A. Ritzenhoff is a professor in the Department of Communication at Central Connecticut University in New Britain. She's co-chair of the Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies program, as well as Cinema Studies and the Honors program. Dr. Ritzenhoff earned a BA at the University of, now I'm going to say this wrong, Tübingen, Germany, and a BA, MA, and PhD at the University of Minnesota. visiting student in the Department of Radio, TV, Film at Northwestern University in Princeton, Illinois. Professor Ritzenhoff's teaching experience includes women in film, visual communication, history of film, television and documentary production, converging media, American cinema, horror film, and post 9/11 literature and film. Dr. Ritzenhoff is co-editor of The Handmaid's Tale, teaching dystopia, feminism, and resistance across disciplines and borders, 2019, and many other books. That's the book actually that caused us to reach out to her. Teaching Dystopia with Janice L. Goldie features 23 chapters that discuss Margaret Atwood's dystopian fiction and its TV and film adaptations to model strategies and social issues of social concern. 16 academics who are affiliated with CCSU are featured. Chapters in this book, let me see, there are 23 chapters, and I read them all because I want to give you sense of the breadth of issues that come up in the book and the TV show, as well as there's some overlap with the themes that we decided to look at. So chapter 1 is called The Handmaid's Tale as a Teaching Tool for Engaging Students in Colonial American History and Puritanism. Chapter 2, Translation and Adaptation Matters, about the differences between a story called The Handmaid's Tale or The Slave Girl's Tale. Chapter 3, Jezebels, Sex and Marriage in Early Christian Theology. Chapter 4, Literary Narration, Complicity, and Political Dystopia in Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 5, You Don't Know What We Had to Go Through, Feminist Generations in The Handmaid's Tale. 6, Don't Let the Bastards Grind You Down, again, remembering The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 7, Consent, Power, and Sexual Assault in The Handmaid's Tale. Handmaids, Sexual Slavery, and Victim Blaming. Chapter 8, Advancing Student Understanding of Rape Culture, The Handmaid's Tale as a tool in the primary prevention of sexual assault on college campuses. Chapter 9, Fertility and Fetal Containers, Science, Religion, and The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 10, I'm Ravenous for News, Using The Handmaid's Tale to Explore the Role of Journalism. Chapter 11, Women's Health in The Handmaid's Tale and the Marginalization of Women. Chapter 12, Resist Racism and Sexism in The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 13, Erasing Race in The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 14, Women, Complicity, and The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 15, Discards, All of Us, Representations of Age in The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 16, No Light Without Shadow, The Question of Realism in Volker Schondorf's The Handmaid's Tale and Hulu's TV series. Chapter 17, Shifting Perspectives and Reaccentuation, Adapting The Handmaid's Tale as film in 1990 and as a Hulu TV series in 2017 to 2018. Chapter 18, The Handmaid's Tale, The Optics of Dystopia. Chapter 19, Offred's Journey Through Gilead, Subverting Oppositional Discourse Through First-Person Performed Narrative. Chapter 20, The Artist and Her Art, an examination of Elizabeth Moss as Peggy Olson and June Osborne through a feminist lens. Chapter 21, The Magical Land of the North, Anti-Americanism and Canadian Identity Within The Handmaid's Tale. Chapter 22, Suffering Motherhood and Woman's Empowerment, Comparing Metropolis and The Handmaid's Tale. And the final chapter, chapter 23, Topia Extended, Historical Judgment of The Handmaid's Tale. And Dr. Ritzenhoff has been involved in editing quite a few books. Some of the other titles she's helped to bring into the world are The Apocalypse in Film, Dystopia's Disasters and Other Visions About the End of the World, Selling Sex on Screen, From Weimar Cinema to Zombie Porn, Screening the Dark Side of Love, From Euro Horror to American Cinema, Sex and Sexuality in a Feminist World, Heroism and Gender in War Films, and Border Visions, Identity and Diaspora in Film. And in her off time, Dr. Ritzenhoff travels widely, including trips to Namibia, Morocco, England, and Colombia, and has developed a passion for oil, acrylic, and watercolor paintings. One of her goals is to integrate political content into her artwork. And so with that, we welcome you, Dr. Ritzenhoff. I think you are the perfect person to help us tease out all of the things that show up in this show that I don't know if you guys heard me before with my technical issues, but one of the things I was saying is it's interesting to me that they don't use a lot of labels in the show. They don't name a thing, they show a thing. And I'm not sure that we all receive the same messages about what we're seeing. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this program, so that we can actually say, this is what we're seeing. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you so much to Janice Graham for having me for this inaugural program on The Handmaid's Tale. So if you see behind me, there's a painting of the Dora Milaje from Black Panther, and that's actually the latest book I co-edited with Dr. Renee White, Afrofuturism in Black Panther, Gender Identity and the Remaking of Blackness. It's also a volume that discusses the Marvel superhero film with an Afrofuturist look across different disciplines. And I was so intrigued by the Dora Milaje as a group of women warriors that I actually started my class in the university context on women on film by asking students to write about women armies, because I think, especially after Me Too, there is this sense that women can talk about issues and address issues of relevance for us today, about sexual assault, about injustices, about power disparities. And the Dora Milaje are one example, but the others, of course, are the handmaids. So this is a painting that is on the cover of the book on The Handmaid's Tale. And even though we had also male authors, the majority of the 23 chapters that are represented and that were so generously introduced by Michelle are by female scholars. And I just wanted to say that although the original beginning of this book stemmed from a university-wide call for submissions to do a symposium that a lot of my colleagues answered, the book itself was co-edited with Dr. Janice Goldie, who is a faculty member in Canada. And she and I became great friends. And so we were able to also attract scholars from France and Switzerland and Germany who participated in this